Welcome to the video. Today we are tackling a sensitive but critical topic: how to safeguard retirement savings when compulsive behavior like gambling threatens a loved one's financial future. First, we will set expectations for a security-first approach. Then, we will outline practical steps and protective structures. Finally, we will summarize and share resources, along with a brief quiz to reinforce key concepts. Here is the agenda for today. First, we will discuss why security must outrank growth in this emergency context. Next, we will look at the specific dangers that volatility poses to someone in active addiction. Then, we will cover where to hold the money safely, including high-yield savings accounts and certificates of deposit. After that, we will share a 30-day action plan along with layered controls. Following that, we will examine legal and relational risks you should anticipate. Finally, we will reinforce learning with a short quiz and wrap up with key takeaways. Before we begin, please note this presentation is for educational purposes only and is not legal, tax, medical, or investment advice. Every situation is unique. You should consult a licensed attorney, a tax professional, a therapist specializing in addiction, and a fiduciary financial advisor to tailor a plan to your specific circumstances. Let's set the stage. When compulsive behaviors such as gambling are present, retirement assets can be wiped out very quickly. At a later stage in life, recovering from those losses may not be possible. In this context, the accessibility of funds can become a direct relapse trigger. If money is easy to withdraw, it can lead to catastrophic outcomes in a very short time. Therefore, your goal shifts from pursuing returns to prioritizing stability, simplicity, and strong guardrails. This means choosing vehicles and structures that make impulsive withdrawals difficult, while preserving liquidity for true emergencies. Now, let's compare stability-first and growth-first approaches. In a stability-first approach, the primary goal is capital preservation. The tools include high-yield savings accounts, certificates of deposit, and potentially short-term treasuries. The simplicity reduces temptation and makes oversight easier, while psychological design elements, such as delayed access, can lower relapse risk. In contrast, a growth-first approach prioritizes higher returns using brokerage accounts and market-exposed products. However, volatility can easily trigger panic and urgent demands for cash. The complexity and multiple access points can undermine oversight and increase the likelihood of relapse under stress. In this emergency, stability is the safer path. Let's visualize the behavioral chain. Market declines increase anxiety, which in turn triggers demands for cash. Those demands can lead to bypassing whatever safeguards you put in place, which raises relapse risk and may precipitate large losses. By contrast, keeping funds in stable, low-volatility vehicles reduces these triggers, encourages calm decision-making, and preserves capital. The goal is to design the environment so that the path of least resistance is also the safest path. Here's a practical 30-day action plan. First, map every account, including ownership and access. Next, move vulnerable cash into a high-yield savings account at an FDIC or NCUA-insured institution. Then, ladder certificates of deposit to introduce time-based barriers against impulsive withdrawals. Additionally, separate an emergency buffer from long-term funds to prevent commingling. After that, enable transaction, balance, and login alerts at all institutions. Where possible, disable cash advances and ATM access on any associated cards. Meanwhile, document all actions and maintain a shared log for transparency. In parallel, consult an addiction therapist, a fiduciary financial advisor, and an attorney. Then, draft or update legal documents, such as a power of attorney with safeguards, or a trust, if appropriate. Finally, schedule weekly check-ins and agree on calm, respectful rules of engagement. Next, consider layered controls. On the banking side, use alerts and notifications, maintain separate account titles, and avoid debit or ATM access on savings. Regarding products, pair a high-yield savings account with a certificate of deposit ladder to add stability and friction. On the legal front, use a trust or a carefully drafted power of attorney with explicit safeguards, and consider a corporate trustee to add independence. For budgeting, a prepaid card with spending caps and a scheduled allowance can help. Finally, maintain a shared ledger and a receipts archive to reduce conflict and strengthen accountability. This table compares common stability-first vehicles. High-yield savings accounts offer variable rates and quick access without lock-in, making them ideal for an emergency buffer, but rates can change, and you should stay within insurance limits. Certificates of deposit provide fixed yields and time-based lock-in, creating a helpful barrier against impulsive withdrawals. However, early withdrawals incur penalties, so ladder multiple maturities. Short-term treasuries offer government backing and can be used in laddered fashion as well, though if sold before maturity they can fluctuate in price. Always verify current rates and insurance coverage. This timeline lays out a 90-day progression. In the first week, you audit accounts and move cash to an insured high-yield savings account. During the second week, you turn on alerts, adjust card settings to restrict cash-like access, and document access rules. In weeks 3 and 4, you build a CD ladder and separate the emergency fund from long-term assets. Between days 21 and 45, you consult the therapist, fiduciary advisor, and attorney. From days 45 to 75, you implement legal structures such as a power of attorney or trust with safeguards. Consider using a corporate trustee and set up a prepaid allowance card. Finally, days 75 to 90 focus on reviewing controls, adjusting the ladder as needed, and formalizing a regular check-in cadence. Now let's examine legal and relational risks. First, the account title determines tax obligations. If the funds are in your name, you will owe taxes on the interest. Second, those funds may become exposed to your personal creditors if you face lawsuits or financial distress. Third, restricting access often strains relationships, and the person may react with anger or accusations. To mitigate these issues, consider formal structures such as a revocable or spendthrift trust with clear distribution terms. Using a corporate trustee or a co-trustee can add independence and reduce conflict. Additionally, maintain robust documentation, including written agreements, a transaction log, and receipts. Finally, take advantage of bank and card controls, like alerts and prepaid spending limits, while recognizing that availability varies by institution. Quiz time. Which savings vehicle best creates a barrier against impulsive withdrawals while still earning interest? Option A, high-yield savings account. Option B, certificates of deposit. Option C, cryptocurrency wallet. Option D, balanced stock or bond mutual fund. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is certificates of deposit. CDs lock funds for a set term and impose early withdrawal penalties, which adds friction and helps deter impulsive access while still providing a predictable return. Next question. What is a key legal risk of holding an addicted person's money solely under your name? Option A, you become liable for taxes on the interest and your creditors could reach the funds. Option B, you cannot earn any interest at all. Option C, the bank will immediately close the account. Option D, the money becomes untraceable under banking regulations. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is that you become liable for taxes on the interest, and your personal creditors may be able to reach the funds. This is why ownership titling and formal structures, like a well-drafted trust, can be essential. Here is a practical checklist you can print or save. It covers account mapping, moving cash to insured high-yield savings, building a CD ladder, separating the emergency fund, enabling alerts, restricting cash-like access, creating shared documentation, booking professional consultations, drafting or updating legal documents, and scheduling weekly check-ins with agreed rules of engagement. To recap, security must outrank growth during active addiction. Reducing volatility helps reduce relapse triggers. Use a high-yield savings account for flexible buffering and certificates of deposit for added friction and predictable yields. Remember that legal titling determines tax obligations and creditor exposure. Implement layered controls across banking, products, legal structures, budgeting, and record-keeping. Finally, document thoroughly and communicate consistently to preserve trust. As we close, remember to prioritize preservation over performance until stability is consistently demonstrated. Design your environment so the safest choices are the easiest to make. Bring in professionals and formal structures to distribute responsibility and reduce conflict. Finally, review and iterate your plan on a regular schedule as circumstances evolve. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more practical guides. Tell us in the comments what safeguards have worked for you and what questions you would like us to tackle next.